Good evening, my dear insomniacs. Well, it's been a while since I posted anything on this channel. It used to be a midterm season, so I couldn't really catch up with timings and consistency. However, I had the chance to gather all of your feedback on my previous video. And wow, thank you a lot. It looks like we're onto something. To be honest, I have new video ideas that I wanna try and post in the next few weeks. Without further ado, let's dig into another 2010s masterpiece. The Social Network is a biographical drama directed by David Fincher. And yes, I'm doing it again. I am reviewing a movie that is 10 years old. Sue me. And I don't think I need to remind you that this video will contain spoilers. Let's be honest, if you want to watch a movie about the creation of Facebook, this particular one is not a good choice. Hold on, don't close this video yet, there's something you should hear. Because it wasn't made to be a movie about Facebook.
It's really not about Facebook at all.
It's not a movie about a website. Yes, that is one of the elements of it, but it's about number 5 or 6 on the list.
At its best, the movie is about really big things.
And even if we want to know the story of Facebook's success, we can all put it together in 3-4 shots.
I think I've come up with something. Hang on.
So, what is it about then? Firstly, I would love to express my own feelings towards David Fincher. It's fascinating how Fincher handles the production, the way he talks to the crew, his style of directing.
Rooney, you can really wind up on, yes, there is. That can be extremely pointed so that it really makes him go. I have to stop and note that for a second. That seems like another kind of communication, more than just words, which is really where I'm sort of more comfortable in.
And his deep understanding of camera, visual effects, and art departments. Nevertheless, I can't really say that I love every single film he directed or produced. But I'm glad. I'm going to review and try to analyze The Social Network, since this is the one I truly admire. The story begins with Mark Zuckerberg having an argument and eventually being dumped by his, well, ex-girlfriend Erica.
You're an asshole.
Disappointed and mad, he creates and shares his website called facemash.com among his friends. The link spreads like a virus. I know, bad analogy. On that website, students decide which of 2 girls is hot when compared side by side at the same time. Website brings a huge traffic and takes down Harvard's computer network during a night. I'm not gonna lie, I rarely watch or read the reviews on films that I have already deconstructed myself, especially when I produce my own work. But in this case, I had to look up online to see what other people find in this movie and make sure the perspective I deliver would bring interesting thoughts. And what I noticed is that the bar scene was analyzed from top to bottom. Although I do agree with some statements like Mark thinks and talks way ahead of Erica, and his desire is to distinguish himself from the others.
Here's my question. How do you distinguish yourself in a population of people who all got 1600 on their SATs?
I didn't know they take SATs in China.
They don't. I wasn't talking about China anymore. I was talking about me.
You got a 1600?
Yeah.
And for that, he needs to be a member of an exclusive student club, where he believes he would meet influential people.
Saying I need to do something substantial in order to get the attention of the clubs.
Why?
Because they're exclusive and fun, and they lead to a better life.
One thing about my way of analyzing movies, I don't really like going too deep into each single scene, because I honestly consider the context of the movie, the director background, use of motif, well-pronounced story, and plot elements will eventually deliver the overall message. Indeed, the first scene is important, but in a way that it gives us everything to be prepared for the rest of the movie. The main purpose of the scene is to show that it is significant for Mark what the individual next to him represents as a person. And this first element goes on throughout the movie.
This must be hard.
Who are you?
I'm Marilyn Delby. I introduced myself when we first...
I mean, what do you do?
That's where I would love to talk about the cinematography of The Social Network. I can't really imagine how hard it is to be a cinematographer for Fincher's movies. Fincher is a perfectionist who is very competent at constructing an image, especially composition-wise and movement-wise. That's why his movies tend to have a well-defined look, and it doesn't really depend on the DP he works with. Visually, it stays the same in terms of the film.
One of the great things about shooting digitally is that a desk lamp can actually function as a piece of set dressing, and it can provide a key light, so it's both functional and it becomes part of your look.
These dirty yellow, dirty green, and gray colors stay consistent in most of Fincher's movies. Those colors tend to present a toxic, envious, and destructive environment that our main characters are placed in.
I do not want that guy representing himself as part of this company. You gotta move out here, Warder. This is where it's all happened. You hear?
Jeff Cronenweth is the type of DP that could execute every single Fincher's need. The whole movie was shot with shallow depth of field, emphasizing this character-driven story, a character with a gigantic ego. Right after the bar scene, we clearly see how Mark stands out of the crowd, even on the extreme wide shot. Constant movement, faster than average person, because Mark is not an average person. Fincher's movies are about monsters, but those that are hidden deeply inside our subconscious. And tonight's sponsor is my Instagram profile. I can't recommend it enough, especially if you want to see more backstage videos and additional information on how I create my videos. Please use the link under this video and follow me. Now let's get back to the video. After making a lot of buzz on the university campus, he is approached by the Winklevoss twins, and they ask him to work on a social network together.
We have something that we've been working on for a while, and we think it's great. It's called the Harvard Connection. You create your own page, interest, bio, friends, pics, and then people can go online, see your bio.
And that's where Mark starts developing the social network, technically with someone, but alone. We will get to that. The social network has layers of meanings. Throughout the movie, Mark is quite picky when it comes to choosing and communicating with the right people, so that he can achieve his own goal. Once I saw a documentary about wolves and their behavior, it is said that a lonely wolf can't be adopted. It won't stand domination from the person who takes over it, nor it will tolerate any signs of weakness. As long as they both stay at the same level, the wolf won't try to kill. It sure does remind me of someone.
Help you. I'd like to freeze this bank account and cancel all existing checks and lines of credit.
You froze the account.
I had to get your attention, Mark.
Do you realize that you jeopardized the entire company? Do you realize that your actions could have permanently destroyed everything I've been working on?
What was Sean Parker's ownership share diluted down to?
It wasn't.
What was Peter Thiel's ownership share diluted down to?
It wasn't.
And what was your ownership share diluted down to?
0.03%.
Mark doesn't get to work side by side with the twins due to their higher position in the community, whereas Eduardo, he's on the same level, and plus, they are friends, right? Mark only connects with people with whom he feels to be at least at the same standing, or higher.
I'm wondering why, if you needed $1,000 for an internet venture, you didn't ask my clients for it. They had demonstrated an interest to you in that kind of thing.
I went to my friend for the money because that's who I wanted to be partners with. Eduardo was the president of the Harvard Investors Association, and he was also my best friend.
That's what we understand at the beginning of the movie, right inside the pub.
I wasn't making a comment on your parents. I was just saying that you go to BU. I was stating a fact, that's all. And if it seemed rude, then of course I apologize.
I have to go study.
You don't have to study.
Why do you keep saying I don't have to
Because
study?
you go to BU. Wanna get some food?
Another element of this story is the battle of the new digital media and the old traditions. The first part of the film sets the tone by showing how Mark damages Harvard's network and reveals its weaknesses.
You're being accused of intentionally breaching security, violating copyrights, violating individual privacy by creating the website www.facemash.com.
As for any charges stemming from the breach of security, I believe I deserve some recognition from this board.
Mr. Zuckerberg,
I'm in charge of security for all computers on the Harvard network, and I can assure you of its sophistication. In fact, it was that level of sophistication that led us to you in less than 4 hours.
4 hours?
Yes, sir.
That would be impressive, except if you had known what you were looking for, you would have seen it written on my dorm room window.
Harvard is 300 plus years old university in Boston. The whole building and campus stands on its historical background.
Whoops. Broke a 335-year-old doorknob.
Its students are guided by the Book of Good Manners and Appropriate Behavior, as every Harvard student must represent. Yet, a bright star is formed inside the old, traditional student accommodation.
Knife fight in the Crimson, and we're not suing anybody.
Why not? I understand. Why not?
He's gonna say it's stupid. What, who, me?
Say it. Why not?
Because we're gentlemen of Harvard. This is Harvard, where you don't plant stories and you don't sue people.
You thought he was going to be the only one who thought that was stupid?
The social network was shot digitally on Red 1. Interestingly enough, no one believed that Red Company would even achieve results closer to or better than film cameras. The last and the most tangible element of the social network is the attention seeking. This element is well pronounced in certain scenes, and it looks like behind every human creation, the sexual desire is one of the motivations.
Harvard.edu. Harvard.edu is the most prestigious email address in the country. The whole site's kind of based on the idea that girls, not to put anything indelicately,
Girls want to give the guys a good Harvard.
Mark, there is a girl in your art history class. Her name is Stephanie Addis. Do you happen to know if she has a boyfriend?
You know why I started Napster? The girl I loved in high school was with the co-captain of the varsity lacrosse team, and I wanted to take her from him.
Is it true that they send a bus around to pick up girls who want to party with the next Fed chairman?
So you can see why it's so important to get in.
These three mentioned story elements that were implemented into the movie are interconnected. A bus full of girls arrives to one of the most exclusive university clubs that hosts a big party.
Everybody, you are at one of the oldest, one of the most exclusive clubs, not just at Harvard, but in the world. And I want to welcome you all to Phoenix Club's first party of the fall semester.
While Mark starts creating the website that will serve the same meaning at the club's party. Gaze at girls and compare them. However, while members of the club do it traditionally, going nuts and hit on everyone, Mark builds the platform that does almost the same, but it's free for public, regardless of their status or rank. Supporting this particular element, I would love to touch on Napster co-founder Sean Parker, that appears on the second part of the movie. He is literally seducing Mark Zuckerberg, just like he would do with any girl in the nightclub. Funny enough, it took them 3 personal meetings before Sean stepped on board as a member of Facebook, if you know what I mean.
I'm Sean Parker. How do you do?
Sean? Mark, do you live here?
Yeah.
If you don't have a place to crash, I think you should definitely come and live with us. Let's line up some shots.
The character of Sean Parker is strictly based on self-representation.
You're 20 minutes late. You're gonna walk in there and say you overslept and didn't have time to get dressed. They're gonna pitch you. Case Equity is going to pitch you. They're gonna beg you to take their money. You're gonna nod, you're gonna nod, you're gonna nod, and then you're gonna say, which one of you's Roth? No, not Roth, Manningham. Which one of you's Mitchell Manningham? And he'll say, I am. And then you say, Sean Parker says, fuck you. Walk out.
It doesn't matter what Sean does as entrepreneur, but how he presents himself. It seems like everything he did was to hit on young interns.
Are you guys?
Ashley, me? No. A little bit.
I think people are perverts. I've maintained that. That's the foundation of my career.
This pretty much sums up the exploitation of Facebook as a social media network. Every user may simply make up their own stories and translate it to others. You would oftenly post the appealing side of yourself.
You don't know my name, do you?
The whole plot of the social network, the action and dialogue, these are all representative of contemporary Facebook.
You're not an asshole, Mark. You're just trying so hard to be.
Thank you so much for watching this quite complex video till the end. I love making those videos, regardless how hard it is to pull out thoughts from my head. Please, if you find this review/analysis elaborative, honest, and at least interesting, share it to your close movie buff. Leave a like, leave a comment about The Social Network, and subscribe. Have a good night.